Hi,
Hello.
everyone. Hi, Lainey. Hi, Grace.
Hey.
Howdy.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Galley Gab Fest. Library marketing team at HarperCollins, otherwise known as Library Love Fest, is here with a special guest. Ooh, a heart. Yes. We have a special guest author who's going to talk about her book. And so she will bring her on in a minute, and then we're going to talk about some books that are very near and dear to our hearts that are coming out in the next bunch of months. So we are really excited about today's show. So we have a time limit, so our author's gotta lie as soon as we're done here. So let's bring her on right now, Shirley Neal. Hi, Shirley, are you there?
Let's see. I am here.
Hi.
Uh, Hi. You're not seeing me though?
No, you just have to click on your camera icon.
Okay.
That's at the
Um,
bottom. Right, Lainey?
there I should be.
Yeah, I just prompt it should pop up saying turn camera on.
Okay. Select camera. Oh, I hate when this happens. I am
No,
so
Oh, there
it's
you
all
go.
fine. There you
sorry
are. You're there.
again.
You're there. Yay. Hi.
So happy to be with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time. We know that your schedule is very, very busy. And so we so appreciate your taking the time to talk with us and to librarians about your new book. So because we've got our time limit. First of all, welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
I would like to read a brief introduction, and this is going to be really cool because you're going to hear from the author about her book, which is out and very exciting. We have some exciting news about the book. And it's filled with these wonderful illustrations, photographs, and so going to get a little bit of a peek into the book, and Shirley will talk you through it. So before we start, a brief introduction. Uh, Shirley Neal is the author of Afrocentric Style, a celebration of Blackness and identity in pop culture. She is a journalist, author, and documentarian whose works have mainly focused on pop culture, Africa, and Black identity. Her cover story for Forbes Africa, highlighting Oprah Winfrey's works in South Africa, is among the franchise's most in-demand issue. Shirley has served as a contributing writer and editor for Ebony. She is a graduate of Boston University with a BA in Liberal Studies and earned her professional certification as a literary ghostwriter from California State University, Long Beach. She lives in Los Angeles. Her forthcoming book, Afrocentric Style, a celebration of Blackness and identity in pop culture, has been nominated by the NAACP Literary Award for Outstanding Literary Work by a Debut Author. The awards will be announced virtually on February 21st. So our fingers are crossed. We are so excited for you. Congratulations, and thank you again for coming on to talk to us about your book.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here, and I appreciate you mentioning the award. I've been ghostwriting for about 7 years, and I've been writing for notables who just don't have time to write, but they don't give me credit. And so this is my first solo credit. And so I'm really proud that out the gate I get a nomination. So that's pretty exciting.
That's pretty wonderful and says so much about you as a writer. And just to be acknowledged, to see your name there. It's debut, outstanding, wonderful. It's really
Thank
cool.
thank
So
you.
now let's talk about the book. We've got some images and we've got a video of some really neat stuff to show. Again, with a time limit, let's just jump right in. So
Okay.
Grace, you've got everything ready to show?
Yeah. Do we want to start with the video? It's a very
Yeah, let's start with the video and then I can talk on the back side of that.
okay. All right.
Why is this model wearing curlers on the runway? And what does it have to do with Black history? Why is Whoopi Goldberg wearing a shirt on her head? And what does it have to do with Black identity? And why is Jaden Smith carrying his severed locks on the red carpet? And what does it have to do with Black culture? It's all in the book. Get your copy of Afrocentric Style, a celebration of Blackness and identity in pop culture, from author and Emmy Award-winning writer-producer Shirley Neal, available where books are sold.
That pretty much tells you a lot about the book. I always tell people too that the subtitle says a lot of what the book is about, a celebration of Blackness and identity in pop culture. When I did that trailer, I really wanted to show that there are pop culture images that have trended on social media. There's iconic images like the one with Whoopi that we look at and we talk about, we share, we post, they go viral, but we never think about what we can learn from them. And so as a result, I decided to create this book that's just filled with images like those. A lot of them are from social media that have gone viral or that trended because I wanted to attract a wide audience. Young people stay on social media, and so they are constantly looking at images, but they don't necessarily know what they mean, what the underlying stories are, the backstories. A lot of adults who are reading my book, they're seeing some of the iconic images and they're like, I didn't know that. Or, oh, I remembered that. Yeah, that was kind of cool to see. I have this campaign where a number of celebrities have even come to me and notable people who I've worked with over the years who have wanted the book and they've looked at it and even they are amazed. They're like, oh my God, this is right now what we're seeing James Pickens Jr. and Debbie Allen from Grey's Anatomy. They got the book while they were doing table read for Grey's Anatomy and they put it aside and someone actually snapped the picture of them doing it. And that's kind of what gave me the idea, let me make a whole campaign about this. So I started asking different people, if you have the book and you love it, show me a picture, send me a picture. But it's really attracting a lot of people. They always tell you in publishing, one book isn't for everybody, but this one really is. I'm finding young people are wanting to use it now, particularly during Black History Month. They're wanting to talk about it in their presentations that they're making at school and church. And I'm seeing other people who are reading it who just want to learn something about Black history. And some people are just doing it for entertainment. It's a nice coffee table book. So it's really appealing to a lot of library patrons. And I'm pretty excited about the reach of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one thing I really loved about this book when I was reading it is how much you do learn. Like, yes, we get these beautiful images, which we can show in a second, but there's also so much history packed in there. And I really think it's invaluable for sure.
Exactly. If you look at the images that I had in the trailer, the one with the model wearing the curlers, that's really from a designer. The image went viral about 4 years ago, and it was a designer, John Kirby Raymond, who a lot of people don't know about, but his whole thing is all about Black culture. And so whenever he stages a show, a fashion show, he makes sure that there's a message, there's something to learn about Black culture and identity, which is what my book is all about. So this model wearing the curlers is really to get people to know about Madam C.J. Curry, Madam C.J., who was known for creating hair care products. And this was actually done at her mansion. And he did this so that people can understand and pay homage to a lot of Black inventors and creators who don't normally get in the history books. And the picture of Whoopi, for instance, now this is not something you're going to get in the history books, but it's something that gets people talking. It's an iconic image from when Whoopi was doing her one-woman show. And she did what a lot of us did when we were kids, put a towel or a shirt on her head because she wanted long, luxurious blonde hair. And Maya Angelou talks about doing it. Toni Morrison wrote about it. I did it. But when Whoopi did it, she did it because she not only wanted long, blonde, luxurious hair, she wanted to be white. And so when I show this picture and I have my discussions at schools and at libraries, we talk about Black identity. There was a time when Black people of a certain age, they felt that that was the way they wanted to be. They had more opportunities. And so it really builds up a discussion. Of course, Whoopi has totally changed from that thinking, and so did Maya Angelou, and so did Toni Morrison. So I talk about how there was a time when that was a reality, that Black women felt that way, and how it's evolved over the years. So I write this book also to get you thinking, get you talking. It's not just a funny picture of Whoopi. It really speaks to Black identity. And the one that I have in the trailer of Jaden Smith, who was on the red carpet at the Met Gala, he's holding in his hands his severed locks from his hair. He was wearing dreadlocks. He cut them off and he decided to use it as a fashion accessory. So I talk in the book about why he did that. He's a little out there sometimes, but he gets your attention. And what this does is it really gave me an opportunity to talk about the origin of dreadlocks. You know, we see people of all colors now wearing dreadlocks. Where did that come from? How did it become a cultural statement for African Americans? What does it mean in our history of cutting Black hair? So I kind of give you, again, another education about Black identity. And it's interesting, Jaden is always making waves on red carpets. For people who saw him at the Grammys, he's actually wearing a castle, wearing a castle on his head. That was to draw attention. A lot of people looked at it and thought, what is this all about? No one does that. And actually someone does. In my book, I show that there was a incredible designer, Virgil Abloh, who did just that. He put his models in this particular picture. He's actually wearing a skyscraper, but there's a meaning. Jaden just did it kind of for pop culture fun's sake. Virgil did it to make a point. He really was paying homage to the fabulous writer James Baldwin. And James Baldwin wrote a book, Stranger from Another Land. And he wrote this so that, Stranger in Another Village. And he wrote that because he had moved outside of the US. And when he moved to Europe and he moved to Switzerland, to a place where Blacks had never been. No one in the community had ever seen a Black person before in person. And so he felt like the stranger in a village. And so that's what this designer, Virgil Abloh, felt like when he moved from the US to Europe to head up Louis Vuitton as the first Black creative director of a European house. So he had this incredible show. And so what this does is it shows you something, an image that makes you think, I want to know more about it. So the pop culture image draws you in, but then as you start to read what it's about, you learn about James Baldwin and you learn about this prolific designer and you learn about what the times were in James Baldwin's days that led him to move out of the US and into Europe. So with every image that I have in the book, I try to leave your patrons with some kind of story. And it seems like it's been pretty effective. I get a lot of people talking about the one chapter that I have on fashion, wearing the fashion. This is a perfect example. Angelou Ellis, Academy Award winner, and she was really upset with the monuments that were still the Confederate monuments that were still in her hometown of Mississippi. So she used her wardrobe to make a statement on the red carpet, and she continued to do this until all of those statues and relics were removed from Mississippi. So I not only kind of tell that journey of hers, but I talk about how powerful wearing the movement has been for a culture. And so I show all kinds of examples of that in that chapter. The whole book is dealing with fashion, hair, and beauty. So in some element of it, I'm talking about those things, but all of them are related to Black history and culture and identity. I do one where I talk about the fabric. Kente cloth is one fabric that we see all the time, particularly during Black History Month, and we see it on a lot of not just generations of Black people, but we see it on everyone. We saw Nancy Pelosi wearing it. But this particular picture, this is one that went viral because there was a question of when is it proper to wear kente cloth? They were kneeling. This was Nancy Pelosi joining the Congressional Black Caucus. They knelt for a period of time that George Floyd was said to have been under the knee of a police officer. So people were upset with this image because of how they use kente cloth. And so it went viral. So what I do is I use the image to draw you in. I want people to say, what is this all about? Or I remember that image. Then I break it down. I spend a lot of time talking about the origins of kente cloth. How did it become a cultural item? Who can wear it? Who doesn't wear it? I just really kind of go into not just kente cloth, but all African cloth. So it's another pretty powerful chapter that I have in the fashion section. So um, I get a lot of feedback. Oh, I get a lot of feedback from this particular one. This is actually one of my favorite images. It's also the White House's favorite image. Even after President Obama left, this was a little boy whose dad worked at the White House and he was retiring and had a chance to meet President Obama. And he didn't ask, why were you president? What do you do as a president? He just said, can I touch your hair? And I talk about the whole thing of, again, touching our hair. There was always a stigma to that. But our president was like, yeah, man, do it. And so the little boy touched it. He just wanted to see, he wanted to relate. He wanted to see if the president had hair like him, if he was like him, and it gave him a lot of hope and a lot of belief that, hey, if this man who has hair like me can be president, so can I. So this is one of the many that I put in my hair love segment, or chapter. So it's one of my favorites. There's a lot of favorites and a lot of images that I hope people, and I mentioned this in my introduction, I hope people will say, wow, I didn't know that, or I love that. And a lot of people who've read the book, they say, I'm taking my time. I haven't finished it yet because it's so good. You just want to kind of absorb everything. You want to read it and not just look at the pictures, but you want to kind of absorb everything there. So librarians, be prepared. People who get this book, they're going to sit in the library and they're going to read it or they're going to hang on to it. So make sure you have plenty of copies because it's an easy read. People will tell me that it's like talking to a girlfriend. It's very, very easy read, but if most people will take their time and read it. So make sure you give them long times to keep it out of the library. That's my advice. And so that's it.
Go ahead, Grace.
No, I'm saying that's the book.
There's the book. It actually came out in November. And so, copies are available, and it's as you say, this is a book that educates and elevates, readers' knowledge about the powerful influence of Afrocentric style on mainstream pop culture. I was wondering about Jaden Smith and if he knew about the the other image that you had shown of the man who was, and the connection to the story that
Yeah. I don't
and
know if he does. Hopefully he'll read the book. He's in the book. From what I understand, that particular designer that designed the castle that Jaden wore
Yeah.
had designed costumes for other actors. I think he just wanted to be different, but I think maybe he didn't realize it's been done before. I know a lot of people who are looking at that viral image don't know that it's been done before. So I hope they'll get the book and be amazed and see what other things that fabulous designer Virgil Abloh has done.
Yeah, it's really that was really beautiful, and as you say, I mean, you know, the story behind that, the book is full of stories like that, and so there really is a lot to learn. And as you say, the book really is for everybody.
It really is. It
Yeah,
is.
I love
Even
that
to be
picture of that
read,
little boy.
maybe, oh, sorry. I was gonna say for everyone, but maybe even read collectively, like parent and child. It would be really, like, I remember these images, but here's the story behind it. It'd be really great for book
Yeah,
club
I think
too.
what was most heartwarming for me is Black History Month for my church. The youth department came to me and asked, could we quote from your book as part of our Black History Month presentation? And I said, yeah, but what age? And they said, well, mostly our teens and but maybe even like our 8-year-olds, because they were looking at the pictures and asking all kinds of questions. So that just warmed my heart. I know the adults love it, but to hear that the kids are really interested in it. And again, the pictures are there to draw the attention. There's over 100 photos in there, and they're not all viral image trending images. A lot of them are just historic and iconic that you've looked at forever and never knew the story behind them. And so I'm really proud of it.
Well, it's no wonder that it's been nominated by the NAACP Literary Award because it's treasure. It's a as we say, it's a treasured print resource now and for years to come. And you really, it's so expansive and covers so much. And I love the picture of Obama with the little kid. I was wondering, gee, I wonder how old he is now, and wonder what I mean, that picture is just so touching.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, the picture of Nancy Pelosi kneeling, and that is a very interesting story too. You know how there are different points of view and there are different reactions, and ownership of things, and it's fascinating. All of it is.
Yeah.
Um,
And you said you hit on something that's true. This is an evergreen book.
yeah.
So this can sit on a coffee table in a library, and the pictures never get dated. These are things that people have been talking about that maybe you just didn't know about. And so it's definitely it has a long shelf life and can be highlighted for years to come.
Yeah, that's the beauty of this collection. So as I said, it did go on sale on November 26th, but this is evergreen. And I know that we are now at the time where we need to stop, but we do have one question. We have a lot of, people that are watching and listening and thumbs upping, and this will be shared and more people will see it, which was exactly the goal of this, to hear from you about the book. So I think Grace is going to ask that question, and then we do have to let you go, Shirley, and we thank you so much. But Grace, what's the question from one of our
Yeah,
viewers?
Sarah was wondering how long did the research for the book take?
Good question. It took, the actual research took about 2 years. And the good news is it happened during COVID. So I had a lot of time on my hands because I couldn't do anything else. The downside was the libraries were closed. So I wasn't able to back up a lot of my research until after COVID. So because of that, it took a little bit longer, but about 2 years to really research thoroughly everything. Good question.
Thank
It's a
you.
lot of work and a lot of patience and a strange time, but look what came from it. So Afrocentric Style, celebration of Blackness and identity in pop culture, by Shirley Neal. Went on sale just a few months ago, November 26, 2024. It's been nominated by the NAACP Literary Award for Outstanding Literary Work by a Debut Author. Congratulations and a heartfelt thank you for all the work that you put into this book, your name, no ghostwriting. There it is. Best thing ever. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. How cool was that?
So
That
cool.
is so cool. I think even between us, we were like, oh, did you see this in the book? And did you see that? Like, I learned so much, even pictures I thought I knew the story behind. So cool.
Totally. I loved
Yeah.
reading about the significance of like the outfits of like the Black Panthers. Like she really went like, back into history for this. And I wanted that to be like clear when we talked about it, because it's not just a book that you put on your coffee table. It's really rich with history too. So yeah.
So, yeah, it's out there and it's a beauty. So, go check it out. I think it's a great conversation starter and a sort of, a course in style, I don't know, in Black history. There's just a lot to learn.
Yeah.
One of the notes in our internal notes, I don't know if it's external, but I think it's kind of cool. It says Afrocentric style is like having the best of Ebony, Essence, Vogue, Blavity, W Magazine, and Refinery 29 in one book.
I love that. I love that.
Right? That's a lot. Yeah, it's really cool. All right. So now, continuing in the vein of cool books, it is Black History Month. It's Black History Year. It's great books. That's what we're going with. And we have some to talk about. We have half an hour, and that'll be just enough time for us to tell you about some cool books that are coming out. And I think,
I got
which one's first?
slides, but I was wondering, Virginia, we have a lot of cool events coming up too, and I didn't know if we wanted to
Oh,
go
yeah,
over
let's
those
talk about them first, and then we'll go into thank you, Grace.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I know you do. I know you both do, and I appreciate that.
We've got
Okay.
I'm going to throw
Why
in
don't you guys talk about these?
our writers to watch archive and a list of our upcoming episodes, so you can go and RSVP, watch ones that you may have missed. And I'll throw that in the chat. But we have one next, I was gonna say a week from now, but less than a week from now, next Tuesday. Can you believe this lineup?
No, it's crazy.
Just Walter. Like, I can't. I could go on about it, but we have other ones to show you. So that's,
I mean, Christopher Moore, Alison Bechdel, it's great. It's just, we're psyched.
yeah, for sure. I'll throw that link in the chat in just a second. And then next month we also have a stellar lineup, and that is also the 11th. All right.
Another
And
great lineup.
going out so far, we have April as well.
This is Lainey. Sending it out there. Oh my God. These are Allie Carter. I can't wait to talk to these authors. Sue Halpern. Oh my God. So much fun. Okay.
We also have other things coming up. This is our unveiling of our summer fall 2025 preview with Library Journal. Our world famous book buzz is back on the 25th. And I'm gonna throw in the link for that as well. The registration page just went up, so you are the first to see it.
We struggled with those flowers.
We did lots of talk about the flowers. So we hope you like them.
Yes, we do hope you like them. Yeah, so come, that's going to be fun. We're going to talk about so many books. We have a whole new style, and we get to, without being crazy, it's working. People like it, and we get more books in, but it's not at this rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat pace. We're not, like a couple of sloths sitting around, but we're not like, like that's like makes my nerves jangle. But it's really cool. So we get some good stuff in there and some like also this and this, and we're going to do that a little bit later today. So All right,
One more.
join us.
It-
Lainey, do you want to talk about Alma?
Yeah, so first I just have to apologize 'cause I've been sick, so bear with my voice. I'm sorry if it sounds like a cheese grater or something, but I did not want to miss this. And tomorrow, unfortunately, you're stuck with my voice again, but we are doing an Alma Book Buzz. 17 publishers all coming together for 6.5, yes, 6.5, we keep count, minutes each, and you're going to hear about a whole slew of books. So that link is in the chat as well.
Sweet. All right. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second so I can pull up the first jacket of our first book. Virginia, you're going to.
Wait, somebody just said something really nice, and I'm sorry, I want to read it. They
What
said,
is it?
I've got to say, all of your events bring a bright spot to my days when there are so many dark ones. Thank you. Kelsey Blackman.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's really so kind of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we try and it helps us too. Honestly, it does. It helps us to connect with you. So and it's a good release for us, and it's fun to talk about some cool books and the fun things that we have coming up, and then to hear from an author like Shirley Neal. I mean, all of that's just, it's great for us too. But thank you very much for saying that. That really does go far.
And if I can just say, we've been doing something and we hope to continue doing this. We sent out on Crowdcast, if you're following us on Writers to Watch, so they get all the updates for when we add things. We're really working hard to get them out very far out so you have time to read the books and maybe ask the author some questions. Even if you aren't able to read the whole thing, that's not a prerequisite. But if you do, it's great for the authors to see an engaged audience and hear from you because that's why we're here. We want to know what you want to know. And so we've been sending from Crowdcast, because we have to keep it a little security-ish, all of the widgets to automatically download any of the books for February. We've sent those out. If you've missed that, let us know. We sent it a couple of times. Or if you're on Facebook, like write to us and we'll send it that way. We're able to register people's emails from there. So let us know, and then hopefully the next time we're able to do it again right after this event. But now you can download and bring your questions. So I just want to throw that out there that you have access to that, and we're here to help you access that.
I just thought of something wacky, and I don't know if this is the time to do it, but do we want to put in the jot form about like, hey, do you want to be added to our mailing list, or should we do that the next time?
I mean,
Because we're overhauling our mailing list because we need to make sure that we're reaching everybody and their colleagues, anybody who wants to be alerted to our, our events, our author events, our book buzzes, all that kind of stuff. So every so often you got to shake the Rolodex. Grace and Lane are like, what's a Rolodex? But
Lainey knew,
anyway,
but
I know
didn't.
that you know.
It was embarrassing for me because I actually didn't know. I'm sorry.
You did or did not know?
I did not know, and I was like, "That's so embarrassing." I was a history
No,
major.
it's not.
Go to Rolodex.
Are you kidding me?
It was
How
embarrassing.
can it be embarrassing? As Lainey says, you don't know what you don't know.
So true.
That's
I, on
true.
the other hand, grew up with one, so don't worry. But if you didn't grow up with it, how would you know?
How would you know? Anyway, we're dusting off the Rolodex
All right.
or whatever we're doing. So anyway, I don't know. You guys decided this is something that we can throw into the thingy now.
Sure,
Um,
it's our contact list, and you can forward that to a colleague too, and we're updating that. And then at the end, it gives you a link if you aren't signed up for our newsletter to do that. And also, I think at the end of the link, it tells you how to get whitelisted, so you can access books anytime if you work for a public library. Let us know. We're here to help you. We live to serve.
who knew? All right.
One more thing. We
Go
just
ahead.
just because we had so much strife over those flowers. Donna says, "Love the flowers on the advertisement, very spring-like." So thank you. Also, lots of love from people in Colorado right now who are having lots of protests, and we appreciate you all, and we see you, and we're hope that we bring some light to the day before we, log off later. But we have books for you.
Yeah. Be strong. We all need to be strong. Can't politicize anything right now, but you know what I'm talking about. And if there's anything that we can do for you, if we can, we will. We're here. So email us, just do. And whatever we can do to help, we will. including sending you a book or three. Like maybe you just need your hearts lightened and you need a fun book and we could pick one out for you. So anybody out there that's watching right now, live, because otherwise this gets shared and I'll be in trouble. But anybody right now who needs a book that's to lighten their hearts, send us an email and we'll surprise you.
All
What do you
right.
think? Do that. Okay. Um, okay, I'm going to start with the Blair Underwood, correct?
Yep.
All right. Okay, so this is very exciting. Blair Underwood presents. You all know Blair Underwood. He is an amazing actor, performer, and he has this series now that we've started. This one is co-written with Joe McClain, and it's called Sins of Survivors. This is book one in this new series, and it is a Carter Brothers novel. So this is Harlem Shuffle meets The Godfather. It's a crime family saga, and it is set in Black Bottom in the neighborhood in Detroit in the 1930s. So when this book starts out, boy, I mean, it's these two brothers, and one drinks from a water fountain. They're black children, and he drinks from the water fountain, and he knows he shouldn't, and it sets this whole thing in motion. It's unbelievable. It's their father is involved, and it just grabs you. It really does, and it tells the story of these two boys starting out and growing up and what happens to them. So they, as I say, this incident happens, which sparks the action of this book and their story. And as it's about Detroit, Black Bottom in the 1930s and 40s, 100,000 African Americans and their businesses were thriving there. And this is a sort of a lesser known story that is really needs to be told. Alice Randall wrote a book with us called Black Bottom Saints, and it is amazing as well. And we had the authors on Writers to Watch not that long ago, and we'll put the information up there if you want to go back and watch it if you didn't get to see it. And it was really terrific. Just learning about their process together, Blair and Joe, and how the story comes together, and then what the story is. And we'd spoken before we actually went live, and we were talking about the Alice Randall book as well. Again, this is the first of a series. There's another one coming. The boys at the center of the story move forward. They have risen from the ashes of this former life that they had in this incident that sets the trajectory of this book. And they're now kingpins in this new community, and they're dealing with everything from businesses to politics to Detroit's violent criminal activity. And these boys couldn't be more, well, now they're men, they couldn't be more unalike in their approaches to running the family and their children who are coming of age and want to get in on this business, and the enemies that both of these men have. So it's really interesting. And I think what kept me flipping the pages with it was that I met these characters, when they were innocents, they were children, and what happened to them. And it's got this great cast of characters about family and what it means for a Black community, just not to be just surviving, but thriving, and what happens. Because Black Bottom doesn't last forever. So you'll read the book and you'll find out more about it. But that's Sins of Survivors. It comes out in May, and galleys are available now.
Okay, The Wilderness by Angela Flournoy. So Angela, you probably know from her debut, The Turner House. That was a finalist for the National Book Award, a finalist for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize, like a Barnes Noble Discover pick. It just kept going on and on. That was such a well-received book. And actually, we kind of it came over with our HMH buy, but I have one at my desk that's signed from the author. So first dibs, whoever wants to email me, and maybe that'll be a book that makes you happy too. But that book was just so well received that when we heard we have her sophomore book, we were ecstatic. It is set up to be such a larger than life read, and I think it's going to be kind of, a definitive, like an era defining novel. I feel like I was watching a movie. It's 5 Black women over the course of their 20-year friendships. There's a set of sisters. There's a woman who is navigating a relationship while she's trying to get a restaurant off the ground. There's a woman who is having a baby with her boyfriend who she is not really sure about, even though he seems perfect. And then we also have a librarian in Brooklyn who's like an aspiring blogger. And so all of them kind of weave in and out. And so it's not linear. You kind of go back and forth. But I felt like that didn't matter. I was just so wrapped in whatever story I was reading at the time because you're not following one person, you're kind of jumping into different lives. And it was so cool to see how they weave in and out and interconnect. Um, but it's just really about, growing up and being in their 20s in the late 2000s and then into 2020. Um, I don't know, like economic and environmental instability and, modern American life and just all of them, all the pressures that they're under trying to like at the end of the day, rely on this beautiful female friendship that goes through its up and downs as well. Um, so that's at the core. But I just really love this book so much. And this cover just came, actually, I think they announced it today. It's such a cool cover. We're excited to be able to show it to you really first. Um, but it really is the wilderness of being in your 20s, and it goes between LA and New York, so really in the wilderness. I think multiple meanings. But yeah, I really enjoyed following these women's stories, and I think we're gonna be getting a lot of love in on this one. They already have really great quotes. There's one from Britt Bennett, who wrote The Vanishing Half and The Mothers. It says it's a wonderfully ambitious novel that follows five women throughout decades of friendship as they struggle to find purpose and belonging in their rapidly gentrifying cities. Weaving through time, Flournoy explores the complexity of friendship, family, and home in a voice that is expansive yet intimate, humorous yet devastating. I love this book. And that's just like one of the great quotes we have. You're definitely going to want to make note of this book. I think you will see it everywhere. And that comes out in uno momento, September 16th.
I want like a blow up or like a poster of this like cover house. It's so beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Lainey.
Yep.
Next we have My Father's House. Okay, so this is by John Conyers III, who is the son of John Conyers Jr., and he was the longest serving Black congressman. And it's this really beautiful ode to his father's iconic legacy through, his start as a politician throughout his life. And I think what like really sticks out about this like book to me, while it has this historical and political element, it's also the story of family. And like it's part biography of his father, but also a memoir as we like hear his experiences, growing up with his father and where he is today. And I don't think, of course it's his son, no one could have told this story better. And it has this intergenerational approach that I think makes it really unique. And now John Conyers III is a dedicated like political organizer in the Detroit community. So he's also carrying on this legacy. A book about a change maker by a change maker, and I think it's a really invaluable book that's on sale in May. And also what I wanted to mention, it has a black and white photo insert as well. So very, very cool book. I think a lot of my books are historical ones today. What do we have next? Again, on sale May 13th. Next we have Family Threads.
Who's doing Family Threads?
You are.
That's funny. Oh, well, Diana Kinney Whetstone. I love her. Okay, let me just pull up my notes. Hang on 1 second.
I'll let
Go to the
everyone.
next one. Yeah, go to the next one. I'll come back to that one.
I was gonna mention my cat just sat in my lap, and I was gonna show you guys, but I think she's.
Oh, well, go ahead. Let's see.
I don't. Hold up.
I found my notes.
Let me try to stop sharing, and I'll show you guys my cat. Winnie, say. Oh, I just hit her in the face. Sorry, Winnie. Say hi. She's really unhappy. But
Why?
because I'm holding her like.
Yeah, she's like, I did not plan to be on camera today.
I will. All right, share my screen again. Just a
All
little.
right. Okay. Are we done with Winnie? Is she okay?
She's good.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I moved my notes around. I'm like, Family Threads. Diane McKinney Whetstone, who is wonderful. She was at the last, I think she was, no, not the last ALA. I can't remember. Anyway, I love her. She's such a huge supporter of library. She's been to ALA, PLA, TLA. She's fantastic. And this new book, Family Threads, which doesn't come out until August, so you have plenty of time, is where it's being positioned as Alice Hoffman's beloved book, magic series meets Gloria Naylor's classic supernatural novel, Mama Day. It involves this family called the Maces. They're Maces, and they are a clan of clairvoyants, and their refusal to abandon their sacred Philadelphia row house, which frustrates developers and divides siblings. They believe that the row house they've lived in for decades is built on sacred ground, and that the space enhances the clairvoyance passed down to them through generations. Ooh. But developers don't want to know about this, are viewing the family's lifestyle as an impediment to gentrification efforts, and they begin a campaign to displace them. And meanwhile, a prodigal daughter's return deepens the family schism and exposes betrayal. And can she also help them battle the havoc and both internal and external that would ruin them? So this is a lot of fun. It's very juicy. It's very complex. There's lots of great characters in here. She is wonderful. I love her. You know her. She wrote Tumbling, Tempest Rising, Blues Dancing, Leaving Cecil Street, which was wonderful. And she's won multiple awards, including the Black Caucus of the ALA Literary Award for Fiction. She's won that twice. So anyway, this is a popular, fantasy category. This is going to be a lot of fun. And her books are they're evergreen. We're talking before about Shirley's book. Diane McKinney Whetstone's books are evergreen. She's just a wonderful, wonderful writer. And we're really looking forward to this one. So past and present, a great family story. That's music to my ears. That's coming out, Family Threads, in August.
Ooh, we have another really fun one. Soko Jackson, The Macabre, is coming soon. I wish you could have been in our meeting when they announced this book, because so if you know this author, they're big in like the YA space, but this is an adult fantasy debut. It's a standalone. We have a really fun spread, like you see the red sides to it. We have a special edition, a fancy edition, and we have a standard one. But when we were in the office and they presented this book to us, I think the whole room was like, "What? We have we have a Jackson, we have this book." And so I think the excitement boils over. It's such a cool premise too. It's a blend of art history and like adventure and kind of like time travel-ish with like dark horror and fantasy. So it's about this painter who has a distant relative who had painted his great grandfather, like not distance, I guess. It's great grandfather created 100 years ago these paintings. And when he's called up, he's a painter as well. He's called up to go to the British Museum and bring a custom art piece that he was like, okay, I can do that. But he brings it thinking like, you've won an award. Instead, they've recruited him because of his connection to his grandfather's paintings. And they want him to jump in. These are special paintings. You can jump into them and live within them, and they want him to go and destroy them. Why do they? We find this out. It turns into a big adventure. He's matched with someone from this, mysterious agency that has brought him in, and they go through like, you know, black markets, gothic markets, really terror. I use that terror of all things. It's very gory and dark. If you love like Book of Doors for that kind of fun magical element of going through things, they'll love this. If you're like a big horror fan, I think you'll love this kind of speculative take on it. We're really excited, and I can't believe we have a Ahsoka Jackson. So yeah, that's macabre. Oh, sorry, it comes out uh September 9th. So another September read that you have a little bit of time for.
Ooh, I love the sprayed edges on that one. Um, yeah, so our next book is Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. This is from the award-winning, critically acclaimed author of Lakewood and the Women Could Fly. And this is a beautiful novel about two brilliant sisters and what happens when their undeniable bond is up against a mysterious, perilous new world. So it starts with an ordinary morning, and then seven mysterious doors appear. I hate when that happens. And they seemingly lead to this other world, and people are infatuated with this, which, you know, that makes total sense. There's a portal to a new dimension, and it's filled with this beauty, and there's resources, and it really asks you, you know, to step into this adventure. But perhaps inevitably people learn that what looks like paradise may be filled with danger. So it follows these two Black Midwestern teens and their twin sisters, and they have different ideas of what may, you know, be beyond these doors. But you know, it has this question of will their personal bond you know, survive this exploration? And when one of them goes missing, will the other find a solace on her own? Will she uncover what really happened to her once constant, you know, companion and best friend? And I love a sister story. I think, you know, if you have a sister, you know what that bond is like, especially twins. I'm not a twin, but my sisters are twins, and I can't imagine one without the other. So I think this is a really intriguing plot, and I think that that cover is so cool. I think it's really beautiful. I love the colors on it. So that is Meet Me at the Crossroads. That's out in June, June 3rd. And we have Chloe by Connie Briscoe. So I'm passing that off to Virginia.
Who's talking about Chloe? Just kidding. How many books do we have after this one? Couple more?
Yeah, a couple more.
Okay.
Like 3, 4.
All right. It's 2:54. I'll be quick. So Chloe, Connie Briscoe, you know her, you love her. She let's see, what was her previous book?
It was You Never Know.
Right. Yeah, oh my God, that was so good. That was really good. I really like her. Okay, so this is here what she's doing is she's updating Daphne du Maurier's classic Rebecca. And it's this domestic suspense centered on a spirited woman named Angel who marries this Black billionaire. And only to find out that he's still haunted by his first wife. So there's this very well-off family who on Martha's Vineyard, and they every year they have a big garden party, and this particular year they invite one of their guests includes this man named Everett Bruce, who's a very influential Black billionaire, and he is still mourning his first wife, Chloe, who committed suicide. And while at the party, this man becomes very enchanted with the caterer, the private chef for this party. Her name is Angel, and they fall in love, and they get married, and she moves off with him. And she's over time, she's really starting to feel the ghost of Chloe, this man's first wife, who apparently committed suicide. And everybody is sort of hanging on to Chloe, the staff, the head housekeeper, everybody, including Everett, the guy who, you know, who was married to her. And the more this woman, his new bride, Angel, asks questions about what happened, the darker and heavier and more melancholic everybody becomes, and especially Everett, who then just starts to show a side of him that she hadn't seen before. And so that's it in a nutshell. I absolutely love this jacket. I think this is so beautiful. She is such a great writer. And it's very fun. So there, I did that hopefully in a minute and a half. We have 4 minutes left. Who's
Yeah,
next?
I did want to
you.
say, somebody in the chat, speaking of covers, said, Victoria said, strange request, someday do a presentation with cover artists explaining how they design the covers. That would be fascinating. And I think that's a great idea. So we'll float that idea.
We would love to do that.
would be so cool.
It's really interesting too, because there's the artist, there's the art director, tell the art, I used to work in the art department. Yeah, so they have the art director telling everybody what, what the book should, what the look should be. And then it's just like this, a lot of internal conversations and meetings about, is this hitting the right mark? It's really fascinating. I love that part of the process. So that's a great idea. We'll do that.
All right. Love Rita. I'm really on a roll with the sister and family stories happening. So this is a beautiful homage from Bridget M. Davis to her older sister, Rita, who is this brilliant woman. She went to college at 16. She became a car test driver, a belly dancer, and I got her MBA, a special ed teacher, like truly extraordinary. There was nothing this woman could not do. And these sisters had a fantastic bond when they were facing hardships. They leaned on each other, and Bridget talks about how much she learned from her older sister. But after her sister's life is tragically cut short by lupus, she explores this question of why Rita, why my sister, and it turns into, this book turns into this beautiful exploration of sisterhood, celebrating that unique bond while also exploring what it's like to live and die as a Black woman in America, and also touches on Black history as well. And it's just this really moving memoir of joy and heartbreak and family history. And yeah, this one is actually on sale next month, so get your hands on it very, very soon. It was deeply affecting, and I hope you pick it up. And then we actually have one more slide left of stuff that's, and 2 minutes to spare, of stuff that is on sale, 2 books on sale that I just wanted to call out, especially for Black History Month. 2 books that I read and was deeply affected by. On a Move by Mike Africa Jr. It's the story of Move, which was a revolutionary Black civil liberties group in Philadelphia, and the police bombed them in 1985. And people were 11 civilians were killed. And it's written by Mike Africa Jr., who was born into the aftermath of this tragedy. His mother was part of the group, and he was born while she was incarcerated. So it's a really moving book. And then next we have Nephew by M.K. Asante. This is a memoir told in 4 parts. It's really rhythmic. Lots of, if you're a fan of music at all, this is a really cool, like, lyrical book. And it talks about MK's nephew, who was shot 9 times and survived. And it's this reflection on life and overcoming odds, finding your voice, and the power of music and family. And I just wanted to call out, these are both on sale now. And also, I believe, Lainey, correct me if I'm wrong, Nephew's audiobook just won an award, right? It was on the listening list.
The listen list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just wanted to call that out if you are an audiobook fan. So yeah, those 2 are on sale now, and that's 3 o'clock.
Oh, you're muted.
I said, dang, that is all right. That was great. That was, oh my God, I'm so glad we got through the books. And Shirley Neal talking about her book. Grace, maybe you could even show that jacket one more time if you could.
Okay.
That'd be so cool. That was a great conversation, and that's an education in imagery and story, really.
Let me share really quick. It's on sale in November, so it's out now.
It's out now. Yeah. So, and our fingers will be crossed, and hopefully she will win that NAACP Literary Award, because she deserves it. And we want to thank you all for your comments, which have been so nice to hear. Thank you. And for joining in and listening to us talk and listening to our author talk. And I don't know, is there anything else? Like, you've got all the stuff there, so you know where we're going to be, who we're having on. Sign up for Crowdcast so you get a reminder. I need a reminder for everything. So I wish I had a Crowdcast for my life. That would be great.
You could just put an event for everything you have going on, and then you could just live stream it. They could join in.
Oh my God, that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh,
I put the Edelweiss catalog at the bottom at Crowdcaster and the link on Facebook. We didn't get to Honoré Van Jeffers, who has a new short story, but that's at the bottom. You can take a look there.
Do you want to say one line about it?
It's essays and writing, so it's a little different than the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. That was her book before, and man, that made a splash. So this is her nonfiction debut. So that's all I'll say. You can find out more. The EPUB is up, so that link's in there.
Yeah.
And
fine.
tomorrow is Alma, so come hear from a lot of publishers.
And yeah. And again, write to us, let us know what we can do for you. And just, you know, you need a happy book. We're your one-stop shopping for happy books. So just let us know what we can do for you. And thank you. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Black History Month.
Bye all.